everyone doing? Welcome to the final episode of After the After Hours with your boy TraderPrad. The final day of this week is tomorrow going to be a free fall Friday. Now get ready for tomorrow. Powell going on the microphone. Powell going on the microphone again. Get ready for tomorrow. So I do have a watch list ready, but if you guys are ready, hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the love. Thank you guys for all the support. Started. Why don't we dive into the full screen and hit that like and subscribe. Yo, my fellow nerds, how's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode. It is Tuesday. What is it? Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday, July 8th. July 8th, baby. And let me just fix the camera a little bit. Finally, face cam back on, but the screen has been on gaming mode, which means it's right up into my face, and it's 2 centimeters away from my face, and it's been on FPS gaming mode, so the camera kind of shakes a little bit. But now that the screen is back into streaming mode, I had to adjust the camera over there. But anyways, how you guys doing? Hopefully you guys had a wonderful day today. I didn't trade today. I just woke up, I looked at the market, I saw that the market was basically flat today. Didn't expect much excitement in the market overall, and I guess I was right by doing that. I did have to manage some some swing positions. For example, I had to take a loss on NBIS, had to close that one for a loser. Had to manage some other positions, take some profits on BBAI because that one went up crazy today. But now BBAI basically down on the day after running up to the north side originally off the open. So pretty big reversal across the board on some of the names that I have after an initial run up. SoFi had a nice move up to the north side, breakout, but that got pulled back. Overall, I guess just a standstill on the market today. Standstill on the market today, and the tariff news, the Trump, the Elon Tesla, the Elon Trump, and everything kind of coming into play is just shaking the market, putting a pause on the market overall. You did have the banks come out and say that they're expecting the market to go higher from here. You also have, sadly, however, the banks did pull back today. Banks had a little bit of a pullback. So why don't we go to the full screen? screen, just start talking about some of the hot movers on the day. However, even the banks pulled back so far, as I mentioned, nice little pop up to the north side today. Here's a quick little look at some of the other banks like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, all of them pushing to the south side with some relative volume relative volume coming into it. My eyes were more on PHH. One of my buddies in Discord actually mentioned PHH last night. At what time did he mention PHH last night? Around 10:04 p.m. And I was like, oh, okay, we got to keep an eye on this one. Potentially a very important stock, because previously a stock like this, OST, previously a stock like this set up with a monster short opportunity from $9 into $0. And now you have the very similar setup coming into play on PHH. But like I said, I wasn't trading today. No executions at all. I did look at my charts for the swing account, but no day trades. So in that case, did not manage to capture this move at all. But when I saw the move play out, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my god, it is doing exactly what OST is doing a few days ago. So need to start building some scanners for these moves. These China names that didn't IPO not that long, that did IPO not that long ago. For example, OST is 2022 of May. PHH is actually even earlier than that, 2025, 2024 IPO. Another China name, I think this is in the cosmetics, beauty. It's like Ulta Beauty of China, basically, or so. The product was supposed to, or they were supposed to be in that sector, but at the end of the day, all it is a BS, not even a legitimate company, an absolute scam, slowly being pushed up to the north side with just back and forth trading between one company or one office, one prop office or one hedge fund, just kind of going back and forth and just propping up the stock up into a price point where it should not even be. I was actually going through Twitter and seeing people complain about how they missed out on the stock and they missed out on the opportunity to catch this run. They were looking for a pullback. Well, guess what? If you were looking for that pullback, my friend, you would have gotten that pullback today. So, if you still want that pullback, you have the pullback right there. But the whole point is, start scanning for stocks like these, ones that go up drastically with very little volume, that are from China, and maybe even a recent IPO, which would be even better, because if it's closer to its IPO at lockup expiry, that's around 180 days. The closer to a IPO lockup expiry, the better the trade plays out. So this one is 193 days from IPO day till today, where the doomsday event started triggering, and people were obviously talking about the stock from 4 or 5 days ago. If you start scanning Twitter, you'll actually see people talking about PHH potentially being the next OST, and it played out picture perfectly right into $3 from $40. Wow. Rick's in the house. What's up, Rick? We got a fellow SMB trader. Love seeing SMB people. Love the SMB chat YouTube channel. So shout out to you guys over there. You guys are doing great work. Do you trade overextension like Wolf Trade? Usually I would be trading the deletion on Wolf whenever that deletion happens. I thought that deletion was actually yesterday, but I guess it did not delete yesterday. Whenever it deletes, we'll see. Right now, I guess what you are getting is the short squeeze move back through to the north side. This was a bankruptcy name, if I remember correctly. They were under a penny, so they must have done that reverse split, but I don't see a reverse split marker. From what I remember, though, they were a sub penny name, and maybe they just started going up without even a reverse split. Looks like lots of volume has been trading this name. I know I've been watching it for the last few days. Yesterday I traded like 400 million shares. Yeah, 400 million something shares. So trading a lot of volume for sure, but At the moment, I'm not really trading for the last few days. I'm still in like the vacation mode, but for sure keeping an eye on this one. The idea is they're gonna go bankrupt, so any pops will be looking to kind of fade the short over there, obviously. But at the moment, what you are getting is a wrong page. That's right, I don't have a page open, so let me go here. What we are expecting is the stock to have a short squeeze, so let me quickly go check out what the short float float percentage is, and that's about 50%. So 50% of the float is short, and if short is covering their position for a profit, you're potentially seeing that pop coming into play. You're also seeing some day traders and some really quick swing scalpers trying to take advantage of the fact that the stock is not going to potentially delete at $0. It might not, I don't know. But in terms of the overall gameplay, I think for now, I'm just waiting for a higher pop for me to short into. There is no long for me anymore. So the idea is for sure look for pops to short into. So the higher it goes, the closer into the 200-day moving average, the better the short, juicier the short, because it is going bankrupt the last time I checked. They are not going to be surviving unless something... some Hail Mary comes out of nowhere. You know, they are in the semiconductor business. Maybe Nvidia or someone comes out and says, yeah, we're gonna buy out Wolf, and in that case, maybe, you know, they do get a big pop up and a higher pop. You see a bigger shorts squeeze playing out than what we're seeing at the moment. But that's a whole different story for the future. So that's Wolf for sure on the watch list. We have been watching it in our Discord pod. And I know Valkyrie on Twitter actually was trading that name today. I don't remember if it was long or short, but for sure going to be watching his charts later on in the day to see how he is playing that chart. But I do have a watch list for us tonight for us to talk about. As I mentioned, I did not trade today. So I didn't really find anything worthy of a trade. If I did look for a trade, it would have been from one of my watch lists, which was Uber. If you go through, we talked about this last night on stream, by the way, which was looking for the Uber long from that 95.50 look for a hold of 95.50 on the pullback. It actually pulled back to $95. It held $95 cleanly and then ran back up to the north side, created a new all-time high. The level that I was looking for was 95.33, but 95.50, I guess I rounded it up a little bit. It did pull back to 95 at the end of the day. 95.50. I mean, you're just kind of haggling for pennies at that point. There was a long setup right here. You see how that lower day breaks. After the lower day breaking, immediate pop right back up. We're also pushing down with volume decreasing on this stock, so volume going down as the stock is going lower and lower. You get the failed lower day breakdown in this area right after the next few candles, somewhere in this range where the stock reclaims the 9 moving average on the 5-minute chart. Is where you can potentially look for the long entry right back through 95.50, 95.60. Your stop at below $95, and you get that beautiful reversal back into 97. I think this also qualifies somewhat as a Bella scalp, maybe not. I think Bella scalp, actually you would be entering here and your stop would be at the low of that candle, and which would potentially trigger depending on how you take your profits and so on. For me, the trade really starts right here in this area when it reclaims the lower day breakdown. Then you have somewhat of a backside scalp potentially. The SMB Capital setup right here in this area, you have a backside scalp. Then you have a fashionably late. Then you have somewhat of not really VWAP continuation, because the opening trend down was to the downside, but you do have somewhat of a VWAP continuation later on in the day where the stock does hold VWAP and buyers start showing up above the previous day close, which is 96.70. So buyers start showing up above the previous day close area. pushing us into a new all-time high into close. So Uber played out exactly as our notes wanted us to. BMNR did not play out the way we wanted to, which was to go below $90 and set up for a big short. That didn't set up, but what we did see was sellers still coming in around that 120, 130 area. So still watching BMNR, absolute insanity. For sure, eventually coming back to the downside. We'll see if that does happen. And GSAT, we did not get the pullback that we wanted, or I did not get the pullback that I wanted. The stock is blasting off, you know, partnership with SpaceX. Good catalyst overall. If you zoom out a little bit, the chart is a little ugly on the daily chart. Also on the weekly chart, all the way around $44, but we're nowhere near that. We're still around the 200-day moving average, and if this catalyst is really worthy, then you should see buyers coming in around, hello, can I get my drawing tool? You should see buyers coming in around these prices. So once we start holding above 27, I think you got an even bigger explosive move to the north side on GSAT, up to up to 40 bucks or above, which is good to watch for the day trade and for the swing trade, but I don't really have it on my watch list for now. Maybe, you know what, I'll just put it in my watch list so I don't forget about it for the day or the swing trade. Let's start with the top of the watch list. Or maybe we should start with what the title of the stream today is about, and what the YouTube thumbnail is about. The title of the stream and the YouTube thumbnail is shout out to your boy Bitcoin. Bitcoin having you know, the most chatter out there on social media. A lot of people that I respect and follow, like the Revere Asset Management team, they have been talking about a potential Bitcoin breakout. Valkyrie has been talking about potential Bitcoin breakout. I mean, you name it. Everyone and their grandma has been talking about the potential Bitcoin breakout. Okay, Mega Brosef, we get it. You're playing 7 Days to Die. So everyone is talking about the potential 112,000 breakout and a big run up on Bitcoin. Holy, my dogs are going crazy at the moment. But if that breakout doesn't happen, or it does happen with the failed breakout, then you have a lot of people potentially trapped on that bigger move up there. So we're watching patiently. I'm actually situated in this trade already for the swing account through MicroStrategy and through IBIT, and those are the names that I'm going to be watching for the day trade also. IBIT for a potential breakout above $64 for a bigger move to the north side. If you start seeing buyers coming in above 64 on IBIT, that is game over. Well, technically that means that Bitcoin is already trading above 112,000, right? So Bitcoin's trading above 112,000, IBIT is trading above 64. Any dip is getting held above 64. It's just a no-brainer long at that point. You're not shorting IBIT if that's the action that you're seeing on the Bitcoin sector. A couple other stocks that you can express that trade with would be Coinbase. You know, I was previously very, very bearish on Coinbase. So I kind of have to eat my words on that. Looking at their financials, I think it's still okay to be bearish on Coinbase, but you know, at the end of the day, just the chart speaks louder to me, and it speaks volume. So the chart is clearly pushing into the north side. We're going into previous territories over here where the stock has found a lot of trouble into. So if we start getting above these levels, things can get wild, especially with what is known as the Bitcoin week coming up next week. Next week, July 14th, the White House, the current administration has announced that it will be cryptocurrency week starting July 14th, and that is potentially when you'll start seeing more and more news coming out about Bitcoin, or should I say cryptocurrency appreciation week, not actually Bitcoin specifically, but that's when you might see Bitcoin breaking out above 12,000, and stocks like MicroStrategy, Coinbase and all of them breaking out and going higher. Like I said, I'm already exposed a little bit to the MicroStrategy position over here, so looking forward to see if I can ride this move to the upside. However, if I look in the chat right now, I'm sure Angry Buddha would be telling me about how he told me to buy this position somewhere down here, or even when he told me to buy the name somewhere down here, and I ignored him on all counts. So eventually, you learn from your mistake once, hopefully. But if you don't learn from your mistake once, hopefully you learn twice. And then the third time you go, okay, maybe it's time to jump on the bandwagon and actually try to make some money over here instead of being a hateful child about MicroStrategy and how they keep diluting shares and so on. But STRK, this is also another MicroStrategy name, position, whatever you want to call it, that the Angry Buddha has mentioned to me, and this has been on my radar and also on a bunch of my friends' radar. So we are watching for sure. We'll keep an eye on this, on how this one plays out. But obviously, is this the next big breakout, as the title says on all the streams that you're watching? That is related to Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin the next big breakout above $112,000 USD into the stratosphere? The bigger the base, the higher in space. I mean, we can say we've had a big enough base now. We've had nice little stair step and buyers come in above the previous base high, and it's time for the blast off. Let's see it. Let's blast off into stratosphere and start making some young billionaires out there in the market. I'm not talking about myself, but I know a lot of young kids out there who got money in Bitcoin and they're looking for Bitcoin to go up so they can become billionaires and so on, right? So overall, I'm exposed to it, and I'm ready for the ride, and obviously I'll add to the trade if it does break this area eventually. So setting an alert on Bitcoin, and I have stocks to watch for that, for day trades and for the swing trade. So quickly putting some alerts on IBIT for myself over there. You can even take a look at Robinhood, which is in the same cryptocurrency sector. Robinhood currently holding still above the 9-day moving average has not broken since it broke out around the $51 area. So breaking $51 hasn't closed properly below the 9-day moving average since. It has been about 61 business days since the stock has closed below its 9-day moving average. So clearly very, very strong, very, very bullish, at an all-time high. Currently struggling a little bit at $100 area. As long as it's really holding the 21-day moving average, I think it's very bullish in my opinion. Sadly though, pulling into 21-day will be a little sad. My average right now is around $65. So even if it does pull into the 21-day and then bounces off the 21-day, I'm fine with it. So technically I could throw a hard stop somewhere in this area. I could throw a hard stop below $80 and say if Hood closes below 80, I don't want to be holding that position anymore. But if Hood starts to hold this area like it is right now, I've talked about this previously. So this is a candle that is bigger than the previous candle, and the volume is also bigger than the previous volume candle. If that happens, color that bar in a special color. So it colors that bar in yellow for me, and then draw out a line at the midpoint of that bar. So that midpoint happens to be around $90, and you can see how the midpoint of that bar, the stock has just never been really pushing under that since that day. The 9 EMA catching up to that price point, 9-day moving average, that is. If we continue to hold this a little bit longer and then blast off, we might just have a big move over here on Robinhood as it can start going parabolic a little bit. I mean, this is not really parabolic in my opinion. It did slowly stair step up with the 1 day back, 1 day front, 1 day back, 1 day front, 1 day back. And I know that because I was watching my position every single day, right? So it didn't really go parabolic like how MicroStrategy did back in the day or how Coinbase did recently. It's kind kind of went there slowly. So I think Robinhood has that potential insane move in it if the crypto week actually ends up playing out in the right way. That Europe event for Robinhood was good. I enjoyed that Robinhood event for Europe. So obviously you can watch for this one to be exposed through exposed to the Bitcoin trade if you're interested, but there's no better trade than just directly trading IBIT if you want to trade the Bitcoin breakout as a day trade, in my opinion. So just gonna put that one out there. Robinhood at the moment, I don't want to see it below $90. It's that nice even psychological price and also the halfway point of that breakout candle. So I just don't want to see it below 90 bucks. It's also exactly the 9-day moving average, so I don't want to see it below that at all. Let's talk about some of the other names now that we have on the watch list. Shout out to China. I know China has been on watch recently a lot. I did see Victor in the chat. Victor talking about on his stream earlier. I was creeping in his stream a little bit, or was it on his tweets? He was talking in his tweets about how China might be important to keep an eye on. Now, if the China-US deal actually does play out and plays out into the favor for both countries, then obviously that's a very, very bullish catalyst, and stocks like Pinduoduo, stocks like Baba, and more importantly, stocks like Amazon, which took a little bit of a tumble today, and today was what, the Prime Day, the start of Prime Day, so a little pullback on Amazon over here on Prime Day, not the best, but in my opinion, as long as we still hold above this little break, this little consolidation that we just broke out above last week or so, as long as we hold above 218, 218.50, I'm still okay with holding this trade for the swing trade long, and then add on the position above 224, 224.50 or whatever. So Amazon at the moment looking to see how it wants to behave, but obviously on watch with the whole China tariffs and so on. I think Trump throwing around tariff word again like an absolute maniac has caused some issues for the stock and its trajectory to the upside, but for sure worthy keeping on. But moving back to the China sector, you have Baba, you have Pinduoduo, you have Baidu, but most importantly, the biggest, the best chart I want to say goes to FUTU. If you zoom out a little bit over here on FUTU, you can see how it's held at the 200-day moving average really well. And now this almost looks like I don't want to say a picture perfect bouncy ball, because a picture perfect bouncy ball would be a higher low and then a breakout. Oops. Oh, I don't know that button. Okay, that's pretty cool. This would be a picture perfect bouncy ball. So higher low, flat high, and then it breaks out over here. So one more rejection and then it breaks out over here. This is also a triple top. There is no real quadruple top, but we can make one if you guys care about it. But there is no quadruple top. It's triple top. It gave you a lower high, but you can kind of use this lower low. It gave you a lower low, but you can kind of use this lower low as a failed breakdown of the previous low and a failed breakdown under the 200-day moving average. It is the undercut and rally from the 200-day moving average. So far, looking good on that aspect. So if we start getting above 130 and you see how we actually closed above 130 today. So if the stock actually starts buying above 130 tomorrow or the next few days, I think watching this one for a potential long is for sure on watch, because this one could go crazy, especially if the deals start coming out in the right direction for China and America. So FUTU 130, important level. SOUN. SOUN moving back up to the north side. Nice little volume spike. 100 million shares traded today. I think BBAI was the main reason why the stock went a little nuts today. BBAI going up to what, like $9 or so. I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention when BBAI went that high, and when it pulled back, I didn't want to cut profits on this one. But at the end of the day, I guess I should just be happy that the AI sector in general is catching some heat. So BBAI going up. I have BBAI from $5, so this is going absolutely crazy for me. SOUN is going to the upside a little bit, so any opportunities on this one for a day trade or a swing trade, obviously worth watching. That's a little breakout right there above $12. So I think if we do see buying coming in above 12 on this name, it's worth watching for sure. I'm just gonna put some notes over here, or some important colors. SoFi, next one. SoFi, watching SoFi. It's a little too extended for a day trade, but I had this as on the swing side, and honestly I had this as an investment because I was bagged at one point. So 2022 on the way down, I bought it around this area, and I had to hold it against me all the way through, and now finally I'm up like 20-30% on SoFi. So loving the fact that we're getting a breakout and move back up north. But the time to start taking some profits on my swing account. For the day trade, I mean, obviously SoFi trades a shit ton of volume for a very low price stock. So that is a good thing. Liquidity is great. Just watch for basic patterns. You could say this is, you know, a little extended at the moment. So potentially looking for pops to short into. But if the stock starts to hold above 20, then I'm not really aggressively looking for shorts. You gotta pop above 20, give me a short above 20, like 21 or something, and then when you go back into 20, you gotta be weak around 20 and then break 20. That's the short setup over there. If it's not being weak around $20, then there is no short on this name. There is a long maybe, but there for sure is not a short on this name if we're not weak around $20 on SoFi. So that is the inflection level that you might want to keep an eye on. But for a day trade, it's not really a high important name for me on the day trade side at all. It is more for the swing at the moment. Intel is interesting. This is obviously a name that has been in the gutter for very long time, but finally getting back above the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average actually flattening out at the moment. Eventually you'll get the 50-day moving average crossing the 200-day moving average, and that hasn't happened in a long time. The last time that happened, you got an about 70% run up on this name. So, you know, potentially worth keeping an eye on Intel, as Nvidia is at an all-time high. AMD is rallying back up to the north side. Micron looks like it wants to do something nasty. So Marvell is another name to shout out over there. ON is another name to shout out in the semiconductor basket. So when semiconductor stocks are going nasty, ALAB, another one to mention over there. Beautiful pullback into the 200-day moving average. The 50 moving average is about to cross the 200-day. That's going to be the golden cross right there. And ALAB is about to potentially break out above $102 area. I'm actually interested in buying some ALAB for my own account, so I might be buying some tonight after the stream, or even tomorrow pre-market, seeing how the stock plays. If it's above 94.95 in the pre-market, I might just buy some and then put my stop below 84.85 over here for the swing trade, and then add once we do break above 101, 102 on ALAB. So obviously when the swing names, when the semiconductor names are doing so well at the moment, it's going to be hard to be overly bearish on Intel, especially when Intel is also setting up for a potential reversal just purely off the chart, not off of technicals or off the company or anything, just purely off the chart. So you gotta look at the bigger picture when it comes to Intel when you're making some big investment decisions. But for a swing trade, for a quick little day, couple weeks or so, I think if you're just looking to apply technical analysis to that, nothing wrong with it. Moving on from Intel, QS, QuantumScape, nice little move back on QuantumScape over here, up 16% today. And the battery sector, obviously very much in in need. So this one potentially getting above to $10, and then we'll see if it starts to get above 10. I feel like I missed the boat a little bit. The same idea as Robinhood. So if it starts to hold above $8 tomorrow on QuantumScape, that might give you a day trade. That might give you a swing trade. But if it's not having a lot of volume and it's still holding above 8, then you might just give it a couple day or two to trade in this area, and then you can just take the second breakout of the new flag. But let's see if volume comes back in tomorrow and the stock starts to go crazy above 8. That might become a pretty high priority name to keep an eye on. CoreWeave looks like it wants to pull back here. Giving up the 21-day moving average would obviously not be a good thing. I think more importantly, the significant price would be 150. So getting below 150 would automatically open some downside on this name. So keep an eye out for this stock. That could be potentially a very good short tomorrow if the market is weak overall too. You can see how it's kind of tried to hold around that 150 for this day, and this day over here, which is today basically. It closed above 150, even though today's low was 149, 148.75. So as long as it's a week below 150, it's an automatic short. But if it's staying strong above 150, I think you want to be careful on CoreWeave as a day trade. For the swing trade, I have no trades on these names. These stocks, I believe, are too far gone. Circle and CoreWeave are too far gone for swing trade entry for the long side, and I'm not even shorting for the swing side at the moment. So no trades over there. Look at that, right? Beautiful setup right here. Notice how that halfway marker, you see buyers coming in exactly at that midpoint. Isn't that insane? I love seeing things like that. So stock getting below the 9-day moving average, holding my special indicator midpoint marker over there, and then now pushing back up to the north side. Technically, there is a long right here. You could have gone long in this area and put a stop right below this candle low, and you would have been able to reap the reward from the stock going parabolic potentially again, as some of the shorts are maybe going to take some exits quicker before their stops start to trigger, and you might start seeing some short squeeze coming into play on Circle as we push back higher. Just a theory, not 100% concept. But as for a day trade, apply simple trading mechanics. You're looking to see 5-minute trading patterns. You're looking to see if the stock is holding above yesterday's high, if it's holding below yesterday's low. How does the hourly chart look? How does the daily chart look? And the simple things like that. So watching how this trade sets up for a day trade. If this one holds above 210, that's a beautiful long over there. Given the ATR of this stock, the liquidity is a little bit trash, so you're gonna see spread potentially of $1, $2 maybe even sometimes. So liquidity is trash, but if the stock is holding above 210 tomorrow, it's just a no-brainer long for me, and I think it kind of looks like a 3-bar play too. You would have had that 3-bar play over here had it taken out 225, 227 actually, and gone back up. But that 3-bar play here will play out if the stock holds above 209.50, 210 tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that area. We talked about Uber already. I think if it pulls back tomorrow again right back into 95.50, it's still a bullish trade. So until it gets back below 95, it's not a short for me. That's the main support area. Ideally, I would like for the stock to stay above 95.50 on a pullback, and if it's above 98, above 99, above 100, is it a short at that point? Really? Right? Just wait to see how the dips behave, catch the dip, join the trend. If the stock is opening at like 105, 110, and it's going parabolic right off the open, then there might be a short off the open. Yes, I'm not going to deny that. But later on in the day, if it pulls back and it holds above 97, above 98, above 99, I'm not going to look heavily short on this name at that point. I'm going to look to join the trend and see if it can get back through 100. So Uber for sure, watching how this bad boy sets up tomorrow for a potential day 3 trade. And I think they had some good news not too long ago too. We talked about Hood. Coinbase, I'm not a big fan of Coinbase at all for a swing or a day trade. I think this company absolutely is dog shit, garbage company. It very soon will be replaced by Robinhood. Very easily will be replaced by Robinhood. The fact that you can buy cryptocurrency and stocks directly, and they also have this new insane what is it, European model that they launched, which is basically a way for you to invest in private companies. Technically, it's not actually investing in private companies, but it's this token, blah 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 nonsense. Robinhood creating a sub-market for you to trade private companies at the end of the day. Not sure if it's gonna be able to pull out, or not if they're gonna actually be able to pull that out. But I think cryptocurrencies, all things combined, companies like Webull, BULL, shout out to BULL, companies like Webull, Robinhood will very easily put Coinbase into the dirt, in my opinion, and that's why I just don't see any worth of this company. Didn't they have a horrible monthly activity from their last earnings report too? So I'm just not bullish on this one at all. But given the chart, given the move, it's setting up for something insane if the cryptocurrency week sets up. So Coinbase on the watch list for a day trade. For the swing trade, it might be worth for the swing also. You quickly get a nice little momentum burst out of it, with shorts getting squoze out, with some new longs, some absolute crazy people coming in looking to buy Coinbase for whatever reason it is, and they want to run this name up. If that is the name of the game, maybe I'll look to be involved in it. But like I said, my go-to names are IBIT and MSTR if I want to be involved in Bitcoin trades at all. Coinbase does not get my boner for me. Okay, it's just not the one. ARKK, who would have thought ARKK would start making the watch list for people? So I know a lot of people are looking at ARKK at the moment for the swing and the day trade. This is an ETF, so the day trade is going to suck a little bit, but ARKK 7150, 71 overall. Once we start holding above 7150, I think this would start blasting off. I know ARKK had a monumental move up recently because of their stake in Circle. I think she bought some shares at $35 and was able to offload at 200 something area. So obviously ARKK taking advantage of the Circle over there. Coinbase, Tesla, all these speculative names are also in the ARK ETF, if I remember correctly. I can't remember what's the largest holding. Was it Palantir, or is she out of Palantir now? Anyways, the chart is exactly what we care about. If it starts to hold above 7150, ARKK opens up some party time for us, and obviously watching how we can take advantage of that trade. ANET, another computer tech name. I almost said semiconductors. Is it in the semiconductors? I can't remember. Anyways, ANET, beautiful chart over here. It's almost like a Amazon chart where it gets above the nice little consolidation area and starts to hold above the consolidation area. The only difference on this and the Amazon chart is Amazon's trading at the low of this range, whereas this is trading at the high of this range. So getting above this little consolidation high, which is what, 103.67, 104, let's say 104, basically 103.50 to 104. If the stocks start trade above this range, it's a very easy long for the swing and for the day trade, so you can't miss that one. Quickly putting an alert out there. Purple is my most important stock for the day, for the swing, whatever it is. Purple is the highest priority. Then you have orange priority, which is in the B basket. So A tier basket goes out ANET, ARK, IBIT, and FUTU. We'll see how they play out, and I'm really liking this ANET chart. COHR chart looks pretty good too. Similar to, again, ANET, breaking out above the 200-day, having a nice consolidation below the 200-day, breaking out above the 200-day. Very soon you'll have the 50-day moving average crossing the 200-day, but for that you would need the stock to break out of 92 and start trading above 92. So if we're trading above 92 and somewhere into $100, that would take the 50-day moving average through the 200-day moving average. So projecting some a move on the stock, if we start getting above the 92 into this $100 area, $110, $113 area, which would be all-time high in my guess. Yes, that is the all-time high, and will be an awesome recovery from 45 to where it is at the moment. So COHR, Coherent Corporation, we'll see if they have a potential breakout over there above 92. So COHR, let me mark that as a high priority. Palantir, this one is kind of shook me out a little bit. They shook me out on the day after the rebalance, which was the Russell rebalance, because they were holding below the day's midpoint. So however, right here you can see how the 50-day moving average held, and now we're kind of about to do the undercut and reclaim of the 21-day moving average and the 9-day moving average. So potentially another leg up on Palantir here, but honestly I'm a little exhausted on Palantir as a swing trader. I've tried to catch this leg a couple times and gotten burnt out, so I'm just gonna leave this one out a little bit. I'm not really too interested to join back on Palantir at the moment. We'll see if a better setup shows up in the future. At the moment, if you are in Palantir, there's nothing wrong with this chart. Your stop should be the 50-day moving average, and as long as the stock doesn't get below the 50-day moving average, you are I'm loving it. You're watching the stock go up and up. That's all you care about. At the moment though, I have no game plan for Palantir as a day trade or as a swing trade. Microsoft going absolutely beautiful, creating a nice little box now into the north side below somewhere around 490 to 500. So a $10 box at the moment being created. Hopefully we get the resolution of that box and a bigger move up. So if the market is done being scared about tariffs and all the other nonsense that we're currently being fearful about, I think Microsoft is poised very for another big breakout over here and a move back up to the north side. Look at that steep 50-day moving average over here. The 200-day moving average is about to get on. It is on an incline, but it is not on a steep incline, but it is on an incline at the moment, and we are about to see that incline get steeper and steeper if we do see Microsoft holding above 500 and trading above 500. So that is your key level, but you cannot ignore the all-time high, which is basically 501 on Microsoft. Nvidia, obviously 160 to all-time high 161. You're watching that area. As long as Nvidia stays above 160, that is your key trigger. That would be your all systems go trigger. But then you want to again make sure that when we go into 161, into 162, we're not walking into big sellers and resistance on Nvidia. If that's the case, then you want to be careful about your longs. Maybe take some quick profits, and you can potentially even look to flip short and then see how the stock reacts on a move back into 160. If 160 breaks, you can add to your short and then enjoy the bigger move down. But I don't think that's the trade that's setting up at the moment. You're just watching 160 action, see if 160 is holding for a move into 161 or higher and a big explosion to the north side. Already talked about GSAT. That's more so for the swing trade. If it does start breaking out above 27 and building above 27, I might just have to hold my nose and kind of buy this position and give it up to that $23 for a risk level. But it is getting a I don't like going long here and giving it till here. I want to go long here, right? So I kind of missed the boat, so I'm a little FOMOing here. Ideally would want to see some consolidation sideways here or some consolidation sideways here for me to join the trend on GSAT. And ALAB, we already talked about that one. Let me just quickly highlight ALAB. as not really purple. It's more so in the orange because it's not setting up for that big breakout just yet. Let me scroll through the chat. We got a lot of messages in the chat. Mostly it's the cryptocurrency boys. It's Angry Buddha and Victor talking to each other, talking about Bitcoin. So let me quickly scroll up a little bit higher. Hello, Prad. Hope you have a great day or a good day. What's up, Barky? Always love to see you in the chat. Could you talk about NBIS? It broke below the 21-day moving average and is looking bearish now. I mean, you're not wrong by saying that. But I wouldn't say it's looking bearish. I mean, yeah, it did close below the 21-day moving average. As I said, I closed this position for a loss today. And this would be the first time it closed below the 21-day moving average since a long time. So not the best, but it could do what a lot of stocks are doing recently, which is an undercut and rally after the 21-day moving average. So once it gets below, we push back into 45, we find some buying back around 45, and then we bounce back up. That's still a bullish chart. So for me, until the stock gets below this area, the $45, it's not really a bearish chart at all. You're creating a box at the moment. You have a clear box being formed between 55 to 45. Once again, another $10 range being formed on NBIS over here. If we get below 45, I think that makes this chart bearish. Even then, you could push into the 50-day and then find support off the 50. You could push into the 200 and find support off the 200. I would still not call it bearish until it starts to get below the 200. At the moment, the 200 is going flat and then maybe inclining up. You have an inclining 50-day. You have the golden crossover. So as long as 45 doesn't break, it's not really a negative setup over here. But for me, I gotta stick to my rules. It closed below the 21-day moving average, so I said I'm gonna take my loss. If it does give me a bounce off of 45 and then a move back up later on, yes, I'll keep an eye on to join back on NBIS for the swing trade. For the day trade, there's just nothing to do at the moment. Maybe if it does break 45, then there is a day trade for the short side over there. Or if it goes to 45 and finds support off of 45, there's a day trade long over there. So it's just not something to keep an eye on for the day trade. Anyways, in my opinion, the volume is very low. There is no fresh new catalyst. There is no high relative volume. It's just not an in-play name. So just not worth keeping an eye on. In-play names are stocks that are moving with the relative catalyst or moved with the relative catalyst a couple of days ago or today, and you're looking for a continuation day 2, day 3 trade on them, or a sector of stocks that have been going crazy recently. SpaceX valuation is set to be nearly $400 billion after latest share sale. That's insane. Kind of nuts if you ask me. I'm actually surprised it's not $1 trillion. Let's be real. It should be $1 trillion at the very least. You know, this company is sending rockets to the goddamn moon. Well, not yet, but eventually plan to. Okay. Going back to the chat over here, you guys you wanted NBIS. It doesn't look bearish, but it's not the most bullish chart at the moment. Good evening, Prad. Anything for Amazon for tomorrow? So, as I mentioned earlier, yes, Amazon worth watching. Ideally, you don't want to see Amazon below 219, 218.50. It's still holding above the 21-day moving average, and you can see that one's at $216. So 21-day moving average is at 216. You don't want to see it below that. Hey, I was first. What the fuck keeps switching me to number second? I think that depends on activity. If people are talking more than you, yeah, so activity, you get XP points for how long you're watching and your activity in the chat, so you can see how Victor has talked a lot more, or Angry Buddha has talked a lot more than you today, so hence they reclaim the number 1 from you because you're just the offline watcher. Loser. Dogecoin to the moon, by the way. Don't buy Dogecoin. Don't buy Bitcoin, guys. Go buy Dogecoin. Prad, will Baba trade higher in the next month or so? I mean, my friend, if I knew answers to questions like that, You really think I would be streaming over here on YouTube? I'd be making billions, sipping on a beach, drinking, mojitos, and enjoying life, being on a yacht somewhere. If I knew answers to questions like that, I wouldn't be here. Traders are making all the money this week. Investors are waiting for earnings to begin next week. So there you go, guys. We were talking about when earnings starts. It looks like earnings starts picking up next week. That's very, very good because that's exactly when I plan to start going back into proper trading mode. I'm still in vacation mode at the moment, honestly, because there's nothing really moving. There's nothing happening. Swing trades are boring. Nothing really setting up. Day trades, I'm seeing all of my friends get burnt in day trades, so I'm enjoying watching me not getting burnt on day trades. I'm not enjoying watching them get burnt, but I'm watching me not get burnt. So I'm just staying away on a lot of red days over there. Overall, day trades are more so in the swing, in the small cap sectors at the moment. Lots of small cap shenanigans going on at the moment. Anything for Datadog tomorrow? I think Datadog actually got added to the S&P 500 index tonight. So big volume closed right there. You can see how it had a biggest volume of the stock since it ever traded. If I can check clearly. Yep, since it ever traded, biggest volume of the day. That's because the stock got added to the S&P 500 index. I think tomorrow you can expect the gap close back to the downside and a reject back around today's high. So I'm not expecting the stock to get above 148, and I'm not expecting the stock to stay above today's VWAP. So Datadog actually might be a very good stock to keep an eye on tomorrow for that retracement back down. So watching the stock around today's VWAP, which is probably around 146, 146. So 146, watching to see if it's below 146. If it's staying below 148, that's another reason to look for the short. And then I'm expecting the stock to go down to 140 tomorrow. We'll see if it plays out that way. It gives you a little bit of a gap fill. 130, I don't know about that, but maybe even 140 is 140 potentially worth getting out of it if we do get that short from 148. So Datadog, that's over there. China, I'm expecting good gains. A lot of people are. We'll see if it ends up playing that way. I am buying Amazon shares, holding this desirable company forever. That's amazing because I'm also buying Amazon shares, or I did buy Amazon shares, and I'm looking to buy more if it goes higher. Agree. PDD, BABA, FXI, overall China, US deal. If it goes through, there's a lot of stocks over there that we can start trading for the swing and the day trade. So a lot of opportunities in the China sector. I just need some proof. I'm okay being late. I don't care about being early to the game, right? I'm okay being late to it because if these catalysts start catching up, these stocks will actually start going nuts. So watching that one. Own some BABA, more BABA. I own some A-Lab. Ooh, I like this one. The stock may go 10x. Victor coming out with some fortune telling crystal ball predictions over here. But Victor actually comes from an investing background, like a Buffett background, where he goes through financials, he goes through actual not charts. He doesn't go through candlesticks and technical patterns like I do. He's going through bigger numbers. So I actually like seeing that when someone like this comes out with 10x. Might be a little crazy if you ask me, but who am I to say that? I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not an analyst. Victor could be more in the analyst basket, but I'm not an analyst. So for me, all I care is about what is the chart saying. Is the chart going up? Is the chart going down? Are they showing me respect off the 200-day moving average and simple factors like that? And A-Lab is obviously doing that. So when Victor is seeing things like this on A-Lab that matches what I am seeing on the chart, that just makes me even more bullish on that stock. It's really incredible if you take time to dig into the financial nuances going on. It's been blowing my mind for the past 2 years. I'm not sure what you're talking about over there, but potentially talking about crypto or MSTR or Coinbase because Angry Buddha. Big picture on INTC, the company may not exist in 5 years. That's exactly my point when I was talking about it earlier. Some cryptocurrency conversations. Why buy Circle when you can buy Coin? Because Coin sucks. Coin's absolute garbage and going to the dog water area, if you ask me. Robinhood is going to easily replace Coinbase. Don't forget us when you become a billionaire, Prad. Sadly, there is no day trading billionaire to date, so I don't think I'll be the first one, but I will forget all of you when I do become a millionaire. Trust me on that one. I will become a millionaire. I'm forgetting all of you guys. The second I become a millionaire, I'm going offline, off the grid, and just completely AFK, as the gamers call it, away from keyboard. All it takes is my first mil. Sadly, $1 million in Canada doesn't even get you a house anymore. $1 million in Toronto doesn't get you shit. I own Hood and Coinbase. Yeah, see, I personally hate Coinbase. I think Robinhood is going to replace Coinbase without a problem. But, you know, I don't think it's a bad idea to own Coinbase shares for a swing trade, right? The company is not the shares are not the company. For example, I hate Apple products. That never stopped me from owning Apple shares earlier, right? Before, on the COVID pop over here, where was the COVID pop? Right here. I bought Apple shares around this area, and I ended up selling it around here. So I'm not upset at all about me making money on Apple. But, you know, what I would be upset is about Apple products and how useless Apple products are. And I can go on and on and on about this forever and ever and ever. But that's not the point of the show. The point is to talk about trading opportunities and how to make potentially an extra buck or two to put in your pocket so that you, yeah, I'm talking to you, Dieter, so you can take your girlfriend to go see aliens in Egypt and fancy things like that. So just looking for extra money making opportunities, and I think if you're trying to do that, Coinbase could easily give you one. There's a nice little flag forming here, but I think there's a better trade, a more stress-free trade on IBIT or on MSTR to partake in than Coinbase. Coinbase did recently have an insane blast off, which usually can be joined with another insane blast off. So this one could go parabolic, like this one could go absolutely parabolic, and in which case that is a great short setup. Like when MicroStrategy was a first red day short setup, right? When MicroStrategy was a first red day short setup over here. So for example, this is kind of where Coinbase is right now. This is technically where Coinbase kind of is at the moment, and it could absolutely go nuts. Do I care about that? No. I think, you know, as soon as it goes nuts, it could easily go insane to the downside too. The risk exposure over there is just way too insane, and it's not worth it for me. I think doing it on MicroStrategy at the moment, or even IBIT, is the easier, safer route. I'm also not investing in it. You are an investor from what I remember. You buy and hold stock for a long time. I don't. You know, investors at best make like what, 7, 10, 11% on a year-to-year basis. Swing traders, like I know a swing trader who makes 300% a year. That's what Revere Asset Management Team makes in a year. Like, how much did Revere Asset Management Team recently post their numbers? Where is Revere Asset? This is why I don't really care to read about investment numbers and you know, dive into those financials and all that extra shenanigans. Revere Asset Management, like, these guys are the proof. They are an actual asset management team, and they talk about how their portfolios, you know, don't go down when all investors' portfolios go down, and they go up when all investor portfolios go up, for very simple rules, very simple trading mechanics, and so on. Going to Dubai in 3 days, says Dieter. So Dieter, where's my plane ticket, bro? Where's my plane ticket? Huh? You didn't buy me any. This guy is getting rich from his day trades and his swing trades, and now he's flying to Dubai. Look at this guy. Come on, Dieter. Where's my plane trip? Supposed to be bros before hoes, my guy. I see how it is. Anyways, guys, 9 p.m. Time for me to call it. Great stream tonight. No trades of my own, and we still went through a whole hour. Shout out to me for being able to pull that. Revere using mechanical day trading rules. We love Revere Asset Management. You gotta go check them out. The boys at Revere, like Connor, Ted. I have these guys on alert. You can see how I get alerts every single time these guys post a tweet. They post amazing charts and amazing stocks to take a look at over here. They're talking about OKLO, SMR, the nuclear sector potentially setting up for round 2 or round 3 or round 10, whatever round they're on. Quantum names over here, how they got a price target boost for IonQ. These guys post awesome charts throughout the day, so go follow these guys too. And obviously, don't forget to follow your boy TraderPrad. My link tree over here on the Twitter page. If you go to my link tree, you'll see all of my social media up here. My affiliate sponsor links down here. You'll get discounts for clicking on those links, and join me in trading with one of the best swing traders that who's mentoring me, Real Simple Ariel. If you're interested, click on this Discord link. It's 99 bucks a month. Join us and start making that money. At the moment, my best swing trade is currently SoFi and BBAI. We'll see if these one keep paying out their dividends for us. More upside to the market, more upside to our portfolios, more upside to our bank accounts, and more downside to the interest rates. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the next stream of the week. Catch you then. Peace. For tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm gonna bring in my big screen over here. Back to another brand new week of After the After Hours with your host TraderPrad. I'm doing great. Hopefully you guys are joining me on that great side. Markets are moving around. Might just be a risk on type of day, so let's see what happens. 8 o'clock tomorrow. As you guys know, we do the stream Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. Shout out to my affiliate sponsors, Benzinga, Trade Ideas, the #1 scanner to go to, Trader Sync, promo code down below, promo code PRAD15 to get 15% off. I will catch you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Until then, TraderPrad out. Adios.